Jodha Akbar, the 15th of November 2021. Jodha prays to the Lord that I am in a problem again, give me strength to do justice with my son and husband. Rux comes into the garden, she asks Hashia to pluck flowers as she wants to put them in her hair. Hashia says but Jodha use these flowers in her puja. Rux gets angry and asks are you my servant or hers? Hashia plucks. Rux says I will take over Jodha's things. Rux comes to Jodha. Jodha asks did you talk to Salim? Rux says yes but he is not listening. Jodha says Jalal is not listening too. Rux asks what you have decided, I mean. One side is your son and the other side is your niece. Jodha says I have no answer for this, I can't hurt Jalal or Salim. Nor can I hurt man. Rux says but you have to make the decision. Hashia comes and says to Rux that I have plucked flowers as per your order. Jodha looks on. Rux thinks that he does wrong things at wrong time. She gives flowers to Jodha and says I have got these for your puja. Maybe your Kana solve this problem. She leaves. Jodha comes to Jalal and says Salim is your son, he is stubborn like you. Jalal says I have decided and will not budge. Jodha says Salim is our son, and if he doesn't love man then what's the need to this marriage? Jalal says he should have decided that before saying yes to marriage. I have given words and I am king. I can't go back on my words. I have some responsibilities as king. Jodha says you have responsibilities as a father too. Aram comes there and shows her new doll to Jalal. She asks were you both fighting? Jalal says no. Why you think like that? Aram says I am not a kid. I can sense seeing your faces that you both were fighting. You are grown-ups, don't fight. Now shake hands. Jalal and Jodha smile and shake hands. Aram says I will bring groom for my doll who will be like Jalal and they will never fight. Hamida says to Salima that I don't know what's happening. Both are right at their positions and again Jodha is stuck in all this. Salima says I am afraid if Salim takes a drastic step. Jodha comes to Salim and says you didn't eat till now? I have brought your favorite kheer, sweet dish. Eat that. Salim says I am not hungry. I will eat later. Jodha says you always do this. I will make you eat today. Salim says I am not in the mood. Please leave me alone. He leaves. Jodha is tensed. It's morning. Dasa informs Jodha that Bhagwan Das have come with Rahim and Man. Jodha thinks what will happen now. Jalal comes to her and says let's welcome them. Jodha says what will you say to them? Jalal says I will do this marriage in a grand way. Jodha says what about Salim? Jalal says I have taken a decision and this marriage will happen even if Salim doesn't agree. Bhagwan Das shouldn't know anything and about Salim. Pacify him to not be stubborn. Let's go. Now Jodha comes to Hamida and says I don't know how to make Salim angry. I am afraid that what if Salim doesn't come in function? It will hurt Bhagwan. I don't want things to get worse. What about Manvi? She will be hurt. I am afraid what if Jalal takes action against Salim? Salima says only Hamida can pacify Salim. He will not deny to her. Hamida says I will talk to him and will see how he say no to me. Salim comes to Anarkali. He comes to Zil. Zil says you shouldn't have come here. Salim says I have come to talk to you both. If you agree so I want to make her my life partner. Anar says this can't happen. Salim asks don't you love me? Anar says I do but Jalal will not agree to it. Salim says I don't need it. I just want your yes. What will he do? He will take my throne. I am ready to give it up. Anar says I can't snatch your future from you. Agree to marry Manvi. Salim says even if I have to do war against Jalal I will do it but never marry Manvi. Decision is in your hands. You want to be on my side or not? Anarkali thinks and says I am with you but I don't want you to. Separate from your parents. It was my fault to see big dreams. Salim says you are not snatching my life but giving me life. You are my life partner. Anar says I request you to wait for some time. Jodha also said that she is with you. I can't take the blame that I destroyed many lives just to make my home. Salim hugs her, she cries. Hamida comes to Salim's room and scolds Dasa for messed up room. Salim comes and says it's not her fault. I asked to not clean it. He asks how are you? He makes her sit and sit in her feet. He makes him sit beside her and says what I am listening that. You are not coming in function today? Salim says when I am sad then how can I put up smiling face? I have decided to marry Anar only then why should I pretend all this? And for whom? Jalal? Who doesn't think about my happiness? Hamida says nothing like that. He is your father. Salim says I am his son too. Hamida says you have to come to party. Salim puts her hand on his head and says I swear you to not force me in this matter, please. Hamida is helpless. Mani's mother gives gifts to Jodha. Jodha says it was not needed. Man says to Jodha that I have made a great dress, tell me. How is it? She wears dupatta. Salima says you are like shadow of Jodha. Jodha says you are looking very nice. Manvi smiles. Hamida comes there and takes Jodha from there. She tells Jodha that I tried but Salim didn't agree and said he will marry Anar only. Jodha says I have only one way. Now. Zilbahar says to Anar eat something. She says I don't want to. Her mom says look at yourself. You have to take care of yourself. You are Shahi Rakasa, dancer. You have to take care of your beauty. I know it's harsh for you but that's the reality of your life now. We have to live with it. You have to go for the dance. Door knocks. Anar opens the door. It's Jodha. Anar says Queen. You? Jodha says will you not call me in? Anar welcomes her in. Jodha says to Zil that years back you came to my house with your daughter and today I have come to your house for my son. I want to talk to Anar alone. Zil says she is your servant. You don't need my permission to talk to her. She leaves. Jodha says to Anarkali that I want to ask you something. Anar says I will answer everything. But don't ask any question whose answer I don't have. Jodha says only you can answer me. Jodha says. You want to become Queen of India? Anar is shocked. Jodha asked do you have dream like that? Anar says I am dancer and I know my status. I can never think of it. Jodha says why you want to marry Salim then? Anar says because I love him. He wants to marry me. His happiness lies in marrying me. And my happiness lies in his happiness. I don't need any throne or crown. Jodha says you will get throne and crown after marrying him but man deserve it. Man is your friend. You want to betray her? You want to cheat her? Anarkali says it's not like that. I never thought I will love Salim. I loved him as common soldier and when I got to know truth, I went away from me. I tried to hate him. But heart didn't listen. Salim came in front of me and I couldn't stop myself. I don't want to become queen. I can be his servant whole life. I have no dreams of becoming queen. Jodha sys you know. Salim and Jalal are fighting. Anar says I know and it saddens me that my love reason for father-son fight. It hurts me. Jodha says enough. What I wanted to see I have seen. You have truth in your eyes. I have taken decision. I will talk to Jalal again. Maybe it will hurt Man and Bhagwan but I will talk to Jalal. Before that I wanted to know if you really love Salim. I have seen it. Now I will talk to Jalal. He blesses Anarkali and leave Dasa ask Man what should I apply on your hands? Mendi? Man says don't know. Aram comes in. Says Salim like Mendi. Man thanks her and says you are savior. Aram says to Man, that I know secrets of Salim. You can ask anything. Other princess, ask if you have any message. Then tell us. Aram says, I have seen you glancing him. Man says, no, I didn't see him. Aram asks, he is bad looking? Man says, no, he is very handsome. She gets shy. She says to Aram that my friend Inarkali lives here. Can you call her here? Aram says your message will be sent. Fazil informs Jalal that Salim went to meet Anar. Jalal says, I don't understand why Salim doesn't listen to me. He has put my respect on stake. Fazil says there is one way. We can throw Anarkali out of Agra, till marriage doesn't happen. Send Anar to some other state. Jalal says it's good idea. I can't stop Salim, but can stop that dancer. He orders to prepare for Anar's deport to another state. Jodha comes there. Fazil leaves. Jodha says, I want to talk something. Jalal says, if you want to talk about Salim and that dancer, then don't. Jodha says, that dancer has name. She is human too. I went to meet her. She is very nice girl. She has no dreams of throne and crown. I feel Salim will be happy with her. At least think about it once. Jalal says, I said it before that I don't want to talk about it. Jodha says, I am stunned that you can't understand your son's love. Jalal says, I can't believe that. You went to dancer's house. Jodha says, I went to person whom my son love. Love has no boundaries. Jalal says, I know how to set limits until Salim gets married. I will keep dancer away from this city. Jodha says, do you even know what Salim will do knowing this? Jalal says, I will handle everything. Jodha says, you are not doing right. Jalal says, what about man? Jodha says, she will be hurt, but what if she gets married and doesn't love man? Jalal says, even we used to not love each other before marriage. Make Salim agree to this marriage. Ask him to not be stubborn. I love you a lot, so I don't like to argue with you. This marriage will happen and I will not change my decision. He leaves. Jodha says, I came to handle things, but it has got more worse. In court, priests are busy in selecting date for marriage. Hindu priest gives date of same month only. Muslim priest agrees. Jalal asks Bhagwan about it. He agrees. Jalal announces that we will do marriage of Salim and man this month only. Bhagwan asks, where is Salim? Is he miffed with us? Rux says, no, nothing like that. It's his first marriage, so he is little shy. Jodha thinks that when Salim will know that Anar is being sent to other city, don't know how he will react. Jalal congratulates everyone. He asks Jodha, you seem unhappy? Jodha says, nothing. I was just thinking. I am mother. I want my son's happiness. Jalal says, one day Salim will understand that I did right thing. It's better to send that dancer away. Rux gets happy listening it. Jalal says, tonight is celebration as your brother has come. It's your duty to bring your son in function. I don't want to be embarrassed when people ask me about Salim. Bring him. Jodha thinks how to bring Salim. Salim comes to Rux and asks, where is Inarkali? Rux says Jalal has ordered her to leave city. Salim says, how can he do this? He says she will not go before meeting me. I will stop her. He leaves. Rux laughs and says, I am very clever player.